Yeah, the brands are awesome. Okay. So I think we are good to go.
Good early evening. McKenzie School District Budget Committee is now in session at 5:07. Please stand for budget.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So it is my privilege to present this year's budget message.
Do you need the microphone? Yeah. Who needs the microphone?
Thank you, Chair. So the role of local control in school budgeting cannot be stopped by a global pandemic or wildfire. Working through this process, communities around our state and country voice the priorities of their local students' education and help craft a vision. Turn to, I'd like to thank this.
Sorry about
Being that voice for the McKenzie River community during these trying times. I'd also like to thank the hard work and efforts of a number of people outside of this committee, without whom this process would have been nearly impossible. So Wendy Whitson, Nancy Osmond, Lacey Joy, and Brett Meister have spent an incredible amount of time pouring over this proposed budget line by line to ensure our students get the best education funding will allow. Student enrollment plays a major role in our funding levels and in turn our budget. For the 2021-2022 school year, the proposed budget has been built on an enrollment of 225 students, projecting the passage of House Bill 2630, which would tie our enrollment to the 2019-2020 school year for the next 5 years. It is our hope that this proposed budget is the dollar and cents reflection of the school's mission of guiding the next generation of our community and learning about themselves, their communities, and the world. The proposed 2021-2022 budget was built upon the following assumptions: a state budget appropriation of $9.1 billion, projected revenue from taxes, the passage of House Bill 2630, state funding based upon an anticipated of 225 student pandemic response. The role of the Budget Committee is to discuss and prioritize programs and services, direct administration to adjust dollar amounts, increase or decrease, and approve the proposed budget document as submitted or subsequently revised by the committee. However, all personnel decisions, transfers, employee contracts, and their results relating to changes in personnel rest with the superintendent and the school board. It is ultimately our responsibility to verify programs and services are in place to ensure every student receives a solid foundation in their academic development. Thank you again for your service to the students and staff of McKenzie Schools, as well as the greater McKenzie River community. Wendy.
Okay, we're gonna go over the sheet right here, the love color. Same school. I know that I have a PowerPoint, but
We can't hear you.
Your microphone turned on.
can you hear me now?
No.
Nope. Can you hear me now?
No.
Yes?
No.
No? Yeah. Can I take the mask off?
Yeah, right.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay. 21, 22 local revenue. So what we're going to do, I do a PowerPoint over when I read these next, we're going over the state school fund that we have in the back and in the middle. forest fees, $8,075. Common school fund, $20,903. County school fund, $3,000. In lieu of property, $800. And so our total local revenue is $1,791,391.42. The next area is the experience adjustment, and the district experience is 9.35, the state average is 12.18, so our district experience is negative 2.75. So we're going to go across to the transportation grant, and then the SSF, it's the one on the right side. The 21-22 transportation grant, this includes estimated expenses plus bus farm, garage depreciation minus the non-reimbursable ones. We are rated 86% and reimbursed 80%. A district has to be rated above 70% to receive additional reimbursement. This ranking changes throughout the year. Our estimated net grant is $266,067. Okay, on the back of the SSF is the ADM. So ADM are regulated in 89, and we go down to 30 for IEP students capped 11%, 21.89. Students IEP above 11 is 7.80. Students in poverty, 6.17. Remote elementary correction, 70.93. Small high school correction, 52.41. So our estimated ADMW is 358.20. So what ODE does is they take the previous year, the last 2 years, excuse me, and they do the higher of the two. So they're going to pay McKenzie the higher of the two, which means 358.20. Do you guys have any questions so far? No questions? Okay, moving on. So the general purpose grant, what they do is they multiply the teacher experience adjustments of negative 2.75 by $25 and add $4,500 to the result of $4,431.25. Then they multiply $4,400.25 by the extended AMW 358.2025, and then by the funding ratio of 1.9. Total would be $3,035,894.58. Okay. So now that we have the total general purpose grant, we take that grant, add it to the transportation grant, and we get $3,301,961.78. Now that we have that number, we take the total formula minus our local revenue. So what they did is they took the 3.2 minus 1.7, so that McKenzie would receive the total state school fund of $1,500,570.25. So this estimate will be our proposed budget. Additional state assistance due to wildfire, we're estimating at $282,380. A total state school fund of $1,872,950. Our total formula revenue for extended AMW is $90,218. I hope I didn't go too fast.
Yeah, so where do you see the, I don't see on this page where the fire.
It's not.
It hasn't been.
You see the information from the email.
Yeah, it hasn't been passed.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned it here, because it's not anywhere documented except for email from the state.
Okay.
What about the ADM 392.117 that are
No. So that's the purple thing that ODE will, and that's where the 292 comes in. If they pay up at 119.20, then that's where that's 292 will put into. There's nothing official.
so that the ADMW is basically in that 92.
Yeah, so if the ADM got corrected, that's how much more we're gonna get.
Okay.
So this is what we know for sure we're getting.
That's what, yes, on paper right now is what we know. But
It's our best guess.
building on the,
What they told you.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Is that property tax reduced due to wildfire?
Yes. It's about 200,000.
Less.
Yes. That's all I have for PowerPoint. Okay. No. Okay, now we're going to the general fund budget.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start, everyone should have a budget document. And so we have a first, you saw the blue page that Lane read. So then the next page, we have our dates and the budget committee members. And then the next white blue page is the fund overview. So this, these 3 pages, gives you the total of each fund. And you can see the total on the last page, page 3. I'm going to go to the next section, and this is general fund overview, function summary, object summary, and budget detail. And we're going to go through the budget detail. So the next page there is the function overview. This shows the total of each function code. And this is for the general fund. Do you guys have any questions so far? The next page is the object page, and then the next page, next 1, 2, 3 pages, breaks it down a little bit. And we're going to go to page 1, where it says budget detail. This will start with the elementary. The 100-111-264 is the K6 instruction. This FTE is the same as last year. So we'll go on to the next page unless you have any questions.
Which page are you on? I'm sorry, I think I might have lost count here. Oh, no, you don't need to show me. Oh, I'm sorry, I just saw the wrong one. Okay. Try and follow there.
We're gonna be on page 2. Oh, that's 2, that's the number.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, I see. The numbers are right at the bottom of the upper page. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, we're on page 2. Page 2 shows the supplies for the elementary. And at the bottom of page 2, we have K6 music. The FTE has not changed from last year. And then the music continues to page 3. At the middle of page 3 is K6 PE, and the FTE has not changed. Page 4 is the middle school language arts.
That's not what's on our page 2.
It's the one.
It's not on.
Is it not right?
Yep, page 4.
It's on page 4.
Is it not?
Oh, there's.
Labeled correctly? No. Okay, so that was page 1. So there's 2, 3, 4. And what page are you on?
4,
We're on page 4?
yeah. You were just starting language arts middle school. It's like the Lawrence Student Telephone.
Someday we'll get to do this like we always do. Normally.
Okay. I think we're on page 4, middle school language arts. The FTE is the same. Page 5 at the top is social studies middle school, FTE is the same. The bottom of page 5 is science, FTE is the same. The middle of page 6 is music, FTE is the same, there's no change there. Page 7, music 7A, FTE the same. PE at the bottom of page 7, the FTE is the same. Page 8 is technology, middle school, FTE is the same. And page 9, shop, and you can see that that is zeros, and this is middle school shop. Health, 7A, that's for middle school, that's part of the shop is supported by a grant, and it's called Mission 98, and that was asking, yes.
Yeah, high school.
And they do a review that, is actually reduced. Okay, so bottom 9, page 10. Page 11, okay, page 11, we're starting high school. So high school language arts, the FTE remain the same. And on some of this FTE, where the middle school and high school, the teacher may be teaching K-12, so part of the FTE is in middle school, the other part is in the high school. Does that make sense?
So the difference between what we actually have expenditure versus the budget, is that due to COVID? The budget versus the actual spending, is that due to COVID?
No. In the budget, you have the 18-19 actual, 19-20 actual. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's just only actual.
Okay, in our budget, you have to show the previous 2-year actual and then the current year budget. So that has nothing to do with COVID.
Okay. Some of them are quite a bit different, even though the FTE didn't change.
Right, because sometimes what your budget doesn't actually is what happens.
And a lot of times.
Is there any questions on some of those line items?
No, I just trying to understand it.
Maybe that we hired, we had a teacher in place when we were budgeting on their salary, we got at least that, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, if someone had more experience or less experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, on page 13. High school science, the FTE there remains the same. At the bottom of 13, we have music, and the FTE there is the same. Page 14, at the bottom is high school math, and that FTE remains the same. Page 15, high school PE, FTE is the same. Page 16, we have foreign language, and the FTE is the same. And high school tech on page 17, and the FTE is the same. Okay, and here's page 18 with, this is 0 because, this is, measure 98 is good.
How long is that grant for? Will we have a placeholder for later on?
Well, with the grant is what,
But it's one that is to continue.
Nice.
page 19, high school health, and the FTE is the same. Page 20, counted and gifted. Page 21.
So on the town, we just give a stipend to a teacher.
Are you talking about page 20? Yes.
It's a stipend.
Yes. Okay, page 20, we have elementary special ed. So on the license salary, the FTE increased to the general fund because the Title I funds are decreasing, so we had to increase the general fund to pay for that. Also, the classified increased in the special ed elementary. And if you look down at the bottom of 21 of the account number 319, it went from 110,000 to 36,000. And this was due to the children being going to high school. Page 22. Any questions on special ed? Elementary or high school special ed? The FTE there remains the same. Page 23 is still high school special ed. Page 24, counseling, 0. bottom of page 24 is student service support, and that FT has not changed, it remains the same. The bottom of page 25 is self-coordinator, FT is the same.
So, Whitney, I'm sorry, can we,
What page, are you- what page?
I'm back at counseling,
Page 24.
24. So, if counseling is paid through a grant, counseling services are paid through a
We
grant,
don't have a counselor, we don't have a counselor.
and it looks like we have it for a while.
A counselor, I heard that you had a counselor.
No, we have a contract.
Oh, okay.
Through ESD,
Okay,
Oh, that's great.
That's covered through
Okay, that makes sense.
some grants, yep.
We don't have any career counselor.
and that's what that is.
We have,
no, I put that under student support services, is that what you're asking?
yeah, that would be the 9/12
Yeah.
career support.
That person supports the principal.
And that's the career counselor technical. And that's a,
Yeah,
so that's a
0.25 here, 0.25 there, their halftime total.
half-time. Okay,
Is that helpful, that it did
Yeah.
answer your question?
thank you.
Okay, at the bottom of page 25, self-coordinator, and the FTE is the same. Page 26 is elementary, 26 to 27 is library, and these are fees. No staff, no FTE anymore. Page, page 28 is assessment and testing. No FTE and extra duty. Page 29 is nothing's changed there.
So, I have a question on staff now. So we really only have 2,000,
2,800 for library.
no, I'm on staff development.
And that's for, site council, the rest of the staff development.
Comes to what?
Grant
Grant
funds.
Thank you.
Or the,
I should have known a Lacey saying it. It's from,
Yeah, that's the only general fund staff development.
Is-
Everything else is paid through.
is site council
Grant.
stuff.
Yeah. It's still.
Library is paid out of grant. Okay, all right, we're moving on to, I'm still on page 29, at the bottom, we start out on the board of ed, and the FT remains the same. So on page 30, there's a few changes. So on the account number 381, audit services, we increased that to 2,000. And then on 390, we put 5,000 for communication. On page 31, Office of the Superintendent, FTE remains the same. Page 32, at the bottom, Office of the Principal Elementary, FTE remains the same. Page 33, Office of the Principal Elementary, continues. Page 34, Office of the Elementary High School, FTE remains the same. Office of the High School Principal, page 35, there was a change at the bottom. 470 computer software, we had 1,500 and we went down to 1,000. This year we needed to upgrade real time, so we got 15. Page 36.
For clarification, under the office of the principal and high school classified salary, that would be like high
Okay,
school
what
secretary,
page?
34. So is that like the high school secretary, that kind of stuff? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
Well, I didn't hear your question.
I answered my own question.
Yes,
Okay.
the 112 is the classified.
Thank you.
Manager, that would be other employees. Not classified and not administrative. Page 35, okay, we're done with it. 36, financial services, FTE remains the same, no changes. Page 37, upkeep of facilities, this is maintenance. I don't see any changes on page 37. 38, on account number 542, replacement equipment, we reduced that 7,500. At the bottom of page 38, vehicle, FTE is the same. Page 29 is the same, page 40. Continuation, maintenance, 41, okay, 41, I want to tell you about the correction. So at the bottom of 41, you have special ed transportation and 112 classified salaries. It says 0.75 for the current year, it should be 1.5. So I'm changing it to 1.5, and the current for the next year will be 0.75. So what happened with transportation is we had elementary students that were elementary, they actually were in high school, so I moved the FTE to high school, half elementary, half high school, if that makes sense. So we notice on page 42 at the bottom, that should be a 0 for the current year FTE and 0.75 for next year. At the bottom of page 43, we have sports trips, and that's the same. 24, technology, the FTE is the same. And page 45, we have retirees, and it is increased. Page 46, we have transfers, and we increased 5,000 in place. Food service, 28,000. Vehicles, 25,000. Textbook, 5,000. Maintenance transfer, 4,000. And curriculum, 60,000. And on our operating contingency, we increased it 5,000. So do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I'm just thinking in light of the bond of not present, it might be wise to figure out a way to get more money into the maintenance transfer. I don't know where. A little here or there. That's a good idea.
So these transfers have come from some other budget line item, or it's come from,
These budget items come from the general fund, and then they are transferred to the special fund.
correct?
So like the food service, they'll take out the general fund budget, do a journal entry in January, and then take the 28,000, they transfer it to the 299 food service. So it's going out of the general fund, trying to food service account.
Okay, and so that's the same thing for like the 719, the co-curricular. Would you have a budget amount for it back here somewhere?
Yes.
So that means, so whatever you had a budget back here, is the 60 is not an additional amount, is that?
It's an additional, it's part of it. I believe I budgeted like 80,000, which you'll see when Lacey does the revenues, the special revenues, see if it's got 80,000, and then it'll show. If you actually go to revenue, it'll show you where the revenue is coming from. And 60,000 of that is from here. Does that kind of make sense?
Correct, but so an additional amount might be coming from some special funds, other special funds, not general budget.
No, it'll be coming from dues and fees, like sports fees, or any of the things that would go to that account.
Great, because I have my notes here too about under maintenance, you've got pretty healthy FTE, it seems like, for maintenance. We have
Is it 4.5?
4.5.
That's.
Is that less than
It's custodians and maintenance.
both of them?
Is for 2 custodians and 2.5 in the maintenance.
That seems part correct. And is that down or up from last year?
It's the same.
It's
Exactly
the same. But we're just gonna have some facilities.
Plus grant. No, this is everybody. This is 2.5 maintenance. and 2 custodians. Does that make sense?
Right, but what I'm saying is that I'm agreeing with Cindy is that we're gonna have some capital improvements that are gonna have to be done right away. So I guess I'm asking where you guys
Where is the money
think
coming from?
some of that money might come from.
That is administrative question.
Excellent question.
And we'll continue talking about it.
Yep. Yeah, right now, the extent of what we can do with capital projects is gonna be, what we're able to do because of the fire. And then because of the seismic rehabilitation grant. And then we're just gonna have to figure out other grants or pockets that we might have to be able to do some of the other pressing projects. So it's not in here because it has not been identified.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, special ed.
Okay, and I can find because we don't necessarily assign that to be in the details part. So you just have to stay on the 3 light blue sheets. That's pretty much all you do. So 200 miscellaneous special grants are fully placed for future grants. Just a bunch of that in there to let our budget balances. Scholarships, this is less, those of you who have been on the board for a while know that we have transferred a great deal of our scholarship funds over to OC Activity Advantage. So we're at 115,303, which is a little less than last year because we actually added 3,000 scholarships. Title I grants, this is 84,300 this year. That's the allocation that we have been notified of. This is $13,158 less than we received last year. Due to this, we are only covering 0.70 FTE and not moving 1%. ESSER 2, these are new funds that we have received from the federal government in light of COVID-19. We were allocated $318,380. We had $102,000 to spend it. We put $2,011 in the budget. Right now, we are paying our additional 2 custodians that we hired with that. There's 3 FTE total. It's covering PAs and a 25% match for the K-8-9 summer program. We will continue to pay the new custodians with this money in 2023. The third ESSER is the American Rescue Plan Act. Our total allocation for that was $714,897. For this 21-22 budget, we have put $276,900 of that. We have a new administrator posted. We have put money aside for a bus. We're replacing the washer and dryer, industrial washer and dryer in Dakota. And we are looking to do some other things with that possibly.
Are we given that money and you haven't done it? Or you just draw?
Yeah,
It's reimbursable.
it's an EM we pull from there. Eagles Pride, this is a Forest Service grant that we have in partnership with the U.S. Forest Service. This is not new money. This is money that we did not get to spend in the spring of last year because of COVID. They have extended our contract for 2022, and we will continue to work with them to do pollinating gardens for the community on the district units. IDA grant, this is $2,958 more than we received last year. It's administered by the state based on students with disabilities and it's used to fund our educational assistance and work directly with the SPED program. Our Title II grant is less, $4,740 less. That is only covering 0.19 FTE at this point. And that's for, that's our elementary educational assistants who implement the RPI, our intervention program. So are working on with students. Our Title IV grant is the support and the student support and academic enrichment. We can what they call read or flex into the Title I and Title II, so we can have the same focus, which is in our RTI program. We are receiving $10,000, which is the same as it was last year, the last like 4 years. We support 0.25 FTE, that's 1%. The READ grant is a federal grant. It's from the Rural Education Achievement Program. We're getting $928 more. It supports 0.06. That's a grant that we apply for every December, and it's a 1-year grant that does not roll over, so we extend it. At Europe Tech, this is the names of the grant that we probably got 6 years ago, 5 years ago now. There's $450 in there, and in the budget, we spend it, but it's to support technology. And then the Europe grant itself is a 7-year grant. It will end August 31st of this year. The $10,000 you see in there is far less than the $40,000 we usually receive. It's because we only put in for the months of July, August, and September. At this time, there's no conversations or plans to move forward with Europe. It's a federal grant that we applied for consortium, and they have not opened it back up for a consortium application. So we're just waiting to hear. Hopefully, it has the back up. Further grant, it's the same as we received last year. It's a per pupil allocation. It's a federal grant to provide health and snack for kids to be 8. And that goes towards the actual food itself and a small FTE that prepared the food. The ESSA grant is to provide assistance to ensure children meet challenging academic standards. We use this for our contract with Urban Health. This is how we pay for our licensed mental health care provider. We were identified for this grant because we were a targeted school who do attendance. That was a need that we saw. Summer membership program, this is a new one. It's going to be used to provide FTE for classified, certified staff, as well as contract service with outside entities, such as the Arts Council. It will serve K through 12. Those of you who are at the last meeting, we talked about it. It'll be a K-8 enrichment, and then a 9-12 credit recovery, and there will be child care opportunities outside of that time. The program will run for the month of July, and we have provided the SIA grant this is the second year we've received the grant. Last year we had a large amount budgeted. We found out, it was like September, October, that we were getting nowhere near that amount. So the amount we're getting this year looks like less than that last year, but it's actually more than we received last year. That will cover 1.25 FTE, and it's what we're using to bring back electives to the school.
Bring back what?
Electives. So that's our art class, Euro, stuff like that. So like shop is going to be measured by date, which is next. Do you know? So what is the allocation?
I have 74,000.
Yeah. Yeah, so 71,000. Okay. As you can see, we had 92,586 budgeted. This is to hire our CPE instructor for the shop class. In the past, we've used the 0.75 or 0.60, and we've been able to use the rebuy money to supplement that. We did this year based on when we hire secretaries.
Lacey, could you just put the mic a little bit closer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. I'm doing further away. Okay, so you mentioned United Way Plain County. This is from United Way. It's for the early childhood education programs. This will pay for 0.5 FTE, and it's family support services such as school closet, toddler group, all that stuff that we do. The McKenzie River Community School, this is what we have in our bank account for that program, or for that our folks here, our board. Catch is, it's the coordinated approach to child health is to encourage children to be healthy for a lifetime. We use these funds to coordinate on our proposed education model by supplies as needed. And that was 3,130, which is the same as last year. Youth transition program, 0.5 FTE, we match this with general fund dollars. It's to assist in transition to special ed students in post-secondary education. It's a 90-level program. It is the same as last year. There are some, there's a little bit in there for student wages sometimes. Yes. Oregon Community Foundation. This is to provide out-of-school enrichment opportunities for students. This grant was, we received this grant for this school year, but it will roll over to next year since we have not been able to provide after school or middle time, as we have done in the past. So that money will roll over and we'll get to use it in 21. At 267 and 268 is our parenting process through Lincoln's. This money is what is in there right now. It is a new grant. I don't think we'll be getting it next year, but we will have some of this left over. Oregon RPI is for stipends and travel, and for the cost of trainings. We will not be receiving these dollars again. It was we were part of the cohort for, I'm trying to think, at least probably 8 years, and it's coming to an end. The preschool program, this is tuition. This is what we budget. This is the cost to run the program. There is no general fund given to the preschool. There is in that 51,000 a grant OCF to help some costs in there. EWEB, this is the same as last year. It covers 0.47 FTE, and we use it for our science program in the K6 elementary. The student transport vehicle fund, this is the reserve account to purchase a car that's specifically for the transportation of students. It's different than the bus. We have 8,902 in there right now. PERS reserve fund, it's to offset the cost for future PERS. We try to put money in there in anticipation of what my costs may be in the future. Communication grant is new. This is that donation we received from Blue Air. It's to offset the cost of repair communication after the wildfire. It was a $200,000 donation. I believe we have $195,000 of it. The nature preschool, this is a new grant as well. This was Cricket's outdoor school that she wanted to do. We received a grant and we weren't able to use all of the funds. So that money will be, we can use it for, we have permission from the funder to use it for preschool, the Little Eagles preschool, as long as we provide help for activities. So that 11,368 can help support the preschool as well. The next one, this is a math donation to support McKenzie educational program is $810. I'm not sure where it came from. Okay. That's the new one this year. Extracurricular fund, this is what Elaine's been talking about. We have 24,000 available. We transferred 5 from the general fund. There is no adoption this year. The vehicle purchase repair fund, we have $88,997. This is the required fund, and we transferred 25,000 to this to make it 88,997. It's for the purchase of the vehicle funds. In addition to the one that has been purchased as well. So we have in the works the possibility of purchasing 2 vehicles. Technology fund, it's the same as last year. It's just future purchases of computer hardware and software. Elementary student body is what they run out of their office. It's set up to receive and extend money that benefits K6 grades. It's the same for the high school student body. They we have 14,900 and 52,200. The co-curricular fund, we transferred 16,000, that includes, and then the other 12 or 22,000 will come from whatever revenue they can to support the programs. And then we use that to pay the fees or the coaches, or not the coaches, just the rest and stuff. Great Family Foundation, we've been sitting on this one for a little while. The original grant was 25,000. We have about 3,000 left. It's to promote education, environmental education in grades K through 12, and promote outdoor experiences. We had a lot happening towards the end of last year. We had some field trips lined up. We're ready to go to some of the remaining of that money, and then COVID happened, and so everything stopped. So hopefully this coming year we'll be able to close that one out. The next one is a grant awarded from the MEF that assists after the wildfire. It's an FPE for EAs. We're going to use it for completed EAs that were down at the hotel when we were operating out of there. The Fed stepped up and gave us money back instead, so we have that for the coming year. The gray water, this was some revenue from the board service. We use this to maintain our new playground, so we buy part of it and whatever we may need to keep up on that new site. And then the food service fund, the last one, is what operates the cafeteria. We transferred 28,000 to that for a total of $124,134. This year, our special revenue funds are $535,308 more than they were last year, for a total of $2,261,800. I know that's a lot, but any questions?
I'm not on it technology, I know, but next year, technology, the 23,000. Right, well, I was wondering if there's no actual, is there a lot
Like expenses, yeah, there's no expenses for it on the public account.
there is budget, but there's no actual.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'll have to report.
Yeah.
There should be some, what,
290.
Good night.
I know that we, fixing our development closets, the neighborhood closets.
I agree with this.
Okay, so when you go,
Yeah.
page 57 is special revenue.
Page 57 in special revenue.
After the blue.
After the dark blue,
Yeah.
After the blue.
then you're in the special revenue. So they look at
So you're talking about the tech reserve fund?
Yeah.
So that was, remember, we were saving funds to replace the networking equipment, but then we got the Blue Air
Everywhere.
fund, so that's.
Our
something
question
to
was
think
looking
about.
at the expenses and the actual, so maybe we could, I know we've been saving for a few years. But
I was gonna say, I don't recall, I think our new goal was to upgrade this closet.
Yeah.
So we didn't.
Yeah, because that,
I would say that in the past, probably 10 years, 99% of the technology upgrades are being other grade funds.
That might be an area where you could change the transfer funds into maintenance.
it's a good,
Yeah.
it's a good point.
Yeah, because we have to do everything, and then they used to do what we need to do here.
I would just all of the funds.
Sorry. Jason's in the chat, and he says, can't have my money.
Just delete that.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
was born.
Yeah. Right there, I'm getting tired of Amazon shopping cart and stuff. Yeah. For this. Congratulations, that's very impressive for a lot of special funds, a lot of small districts. I'm glad to see it's still unusual, not unusual, but we're still getting these funds that it's needed.
Yeah.
It's sad that we need these funds, but I'm glad we have them.
Yep. You're very helpful.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. Other questions? Okay, we're gonna move on to the next new section. It'll be debt service and capital improvement. So on page 1 of the debt service is 0 because the bond did not pass. And on the next page, we have capital improvements, and you can see the total there, we have 146,000. So we're gonna, if you have any questions there, we're going to revenue. Next blue page, so it's a green section in the back, and that's revenue. So all the R1 balance, that's local revenue, and so you'll see what our budgeted 2021 and then 1.9 in the current taxes. This year we have 1.7, so you can see that it has decreased. Any changes down in the 2000s, this intermediate funds, and we're going to put $50,000 in there, and we're hoping to ask for $50,000 from tax funds from the ESC.
Under restricted revenue, is that what you're saying?
Okay.
Under restricted revenue?
Which number?
Under restricted revenue.
Yes.
It's the worst game of telephone ever.
Okay, then we're gonna go to the state school fund, and you'll see it's 1.8, and this is adding the 1.5 from the printout that we have from the state school fund, plus the 292 we're estimated to get from the state. Nothing else has changed down there. Beginning fund is 473,292. The total revenue for the general fund is only $156,104. So the rest of these three pages is revenue, and then just the expenditures. So we're going to go through, we're not going to go through those because we know the expenditures, and these are very small in these. At the end of the green sheet, you have state school fund, and then the last page has the totals of the general fund, special revenue, debt service, capital improvement, and the total of 6.5 million for total budget. You guys have any questions?
What is the final figure? What's the final figure? What's the final figure without the, that you just said, instead of the 7?
Okay, it's not 7, no, it's not 7 million.
I know, so what is the new one? I'm just gonna write it in here.
6,544,479.
I know that. Oh, gosh. Sorry, I had an old one. But yeah. I got that too. That's okay. But she gave me more than long.
Public comment. Question, comments about the input. Information requests. Anybody, everybody.
Jason checked the email account and there was no public comment.
Nothing emailed.
No.
Okay. Fantastic job.
I'd just like to say thank you guys, because I know how much work you guys put into this. Good job.
So this being my last budget meeting, I would love to move. I think
I suggest that if there is to be a change in the transfer fund, we need to do it now, so we doesn't have to do a supplemental budget. I mean, I don't know if the board is, but I mean,
that's something we can do or love to do, should do, will do.
I would suggest taking money from the technology transfer fund and putting it into the capital project transfer fund. However, how much the board is comfortable with. I mean, that's just my suggestion, and if you did it now, you might have to do a supplemental budget.
Okay. Jensen?
I could make a motion. Any discussion?
Anybody not fine with that? Did
Did you
everybody,
guys hear,
did
did you
everybody
guys
hear
hear
that?
Cindy down there? Okay, I know.
Can you repeat it?
So patients to summarize, there is a technology transfer fund that we were saving to upgrade network devices in the building. With the donation from Blue Air, we were able to do much of that work. And so Cindy has suggested changing that transfer and putting it towards capital and doing it now, so then that way we don't have to do it during a board meeting later.
Excellent idea.
Gonna have an expenditure.
Thanks for the explanation, Lane. I appreciate it.
Hey, I got your back. Drive safe.
Are you prepared to?
I appreciate it too.
She needs to get it done.
My only question would be, could we, if we do agree to move it over, to capital improvement, could it be the request to be specific for tech services in capital improvement?
So basically what you're asking is taking the 290 account.
So I'm not, what was the last part, patients?
Capital, could it, if we do agree to move it over into capital improvement opportunities, could it be for tech dollars, specific earmark for tech?
And we're transferring 14, how much are you transferring?
We're not transferring anything to
Technology.
It's just already there. Nope.
I'm sorry.
the transfers on page 46, the transfer. I didn't put any this year, it's zero because of the Blue Air donation.
Okay, then forget it. Sorry.
Get it?
It sounded good though, Cindy.
Yeah.
But I thought I saw one. Okay.
So for those of you watching at home, it sounds like we're not gonna go that direction
Because there was no transfer.
because there was no transfer. Okay. Mr. Roberts.
Go ahead.
Discussion on the floor. It's applause. Okay, we good? Understood? All right, well, thank you for letting me read this motion. That the McKenzie School Budget Committee approve the permanent tax rate of $4.6915 for $1,000 of assessed property value for operating purposes. The general fund of $4,136,134. The special revenue of $2,261,800 and capital improvements of $146,545. A total budget for all funds of $6,544,479 for the 2021-2022 school year.
I'll second.
All right. The chair moved, Melissa seconded, all those in favor?
I don't know if we get it.
Yes, you do.
Everybody votes.
Any opposed?
Heard an aye from patient Sean.
All right, motion passed.
Woohoo.
Well played. Good job. Yeah, meeting is soon. Oh, it's okay.
I move we adjourn the budget meeting. I'll second.
All right, Melissa, who was it?
No.
Melanie seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
How about at 6:06?
Sorry, I missed it. I was listening.
So then we'll keep this stream going, but then we'll return at 6:30 for the regular monthly board of directors meeting. So I'm gonna turn off the sound and the camera, so we're still here. we are back.
I'm we're calling the Board of Directors of the McKenzie School District to order at 6:34, and let's do our
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One quick order of business, that's not related to the agenda already. It is simply that we will have the executive session at a later date and not this evening.
Late comments about no emails?
So we did not receive any emails for public comment tonight.
Okay, we're glad to have Mr. Dan Harold here, newest elected member of the board. Would you introduce yourself for us and tell us a little bit about yourself, Dan?
Okay. First off, my name is Dan Harold. I've lived here in 3 days. It'll have been 6 years. I live down there in Vida, off of Good Pasture Road. And to answer the question, yes, we did lose our house. We're one of those that are rebuilding. Contractor just came by. If you're asking why I'm here and why I'm doing this, I got tired of complaining and arguing about the way things are being done. So I told my wife I was going to run for president, and I didn't like the last one, and I don't like this one, so I thought I could do better in both, and she says I should start a little bit lower. So, in reality, I thought maybe I could help or assist in getting something done positive. I know there's a lot of people that lost homes. We know there's over 400 houses, a lot of families that lost it. So I'm in the same boat as most of those or most of you. And I thought I could at least have a positive impact, hopefully, in the next couple of years. That's my reason for being here. And hopefully there's something I can do. If you guys have any questions about me, I came from the East Coast. I worked in the Pentagon for the past 14 years before I retired as an Army counterterrorism officer. Before that, I was a Navy SEAL for about 27 years. Then on the Air Force as a pararescue command, flew Tomcats for 4 years. So I've got a little bit of history. By the way, I'm also a CPA retired, so I've done a little bit of everything because I kept getting kicked off of jobs, so I'm looking for something better. Okay. Questions for me? That was simple. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, welcome.
Oh, can I throw this out? My hearing is gone. I've been around too many things. They've done to move too many times. So with the sound in here and everybody putting on their fancy mask, and by the way, all your masks are very good looking. If I look at you like I didn't understand or didn't believe what you said, it's probably true. Okay? So please take that with a grain of salt. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I think we have, that's just all taken care of.
Yep, and then consent agenda.
Consent agenda.
I need to for the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Let's move, anybody seconded for the consent agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reports and discussions with Mr. Tompkins.
All right, so this month's report isn't much different than what I sent you via email last week. There are a couple updates that I can catch you up on. So there are a few new building issues that are popping up. The new one's the high school septic system. Mr. Meister's been pretty excited about that. So we'll keep you posted. We're having a hard time getting the second set of eyes up there to give us a call on what's actually
So,
going on.
if I may, Lane, I too am having trouble with the microphone and the echo in the room. I heard issue with the building ceiling something.
Septic.
and-
Septic.
Okay, septic.
Is it better if I just do this?
Yeah,
Okay.
you sound great, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Pull out my teacher voice.
Thank you.
Not an elementary teacher voice, 'cause they can fill a whole room. So, excuse my shortcomings. So yeah, we have a couple new building issues that are popping up. The most pressing one is the high school septic system. So apparently the restrooms in this building, the drain field is actually in the baseball field. And so,
Uh-oh.
yeah, yeah. So then the pipe, so far we've been able to find that there's compacted spots in the pipe that goes out, but it's because it's the old paper clay pipe.
Yeah.
But then with what first estimate we got, it was like, oh, you just need to replace the drain field, which doesn't make sense to us. So we're waiting for another set of eyes to get that work done. Anything to add on that, Mr. Meisher?
Just the drain field, more than it was 6 feet deep, it should be about 36 inches. So that is normal.
Is there a chance that the tree removal damaged any of that infrastructure?
I don't think it was tree removal. I know there were fire equipment on the night of.
Oh.
Might have been down there,
Yeah.
but I don't have firm
Can I ask?
evidence of that. Yeah.
Because maybe that's an insurance thing.
Maybe. So we can look into that and see if any people who were on site remembered that. But that's been a fun. So we are still working closely with insurance and FEMA. This week, Wendy and I met with PACE and WHA, as well as our weekly FEMA meeting. We have a new PDMG as well. He's a little more perky paced, I guess, than the last one, and so it's been a little bit getting to know him, and I think we're actually making a lot of progress with that. Also, our insurance is taking a more active role. So we had a face-to-face meeting with them and FEMA, and I think we were able to figure out what each other needed. So spoke with our Oregon PDMG in a meeting with him to figure out more about the 406 funds that you talked about. But then I've also spoke with Matt McCray from the county about those funds as well. So hopefully we can get a claim on that. Let's see, we meet again on-site with our insurer on Wednesday the 2nd. We're gonna do a walk around, and I think they're gonna have like a kind of a proposal for us, right, Wendy, from what I understand?
Are you talking about FEMA or insurance?
Insurance.
I think so.
Yeah, I think William's coming out.
Yes, he's coming out.
So we should have a little bit more of an idea of what's gonna be covered, what the cost will be, and then we can make those next steps forward if we can. Good news, we had an electrician come out and troubleshoot the field lights again, actually found somebody willing to open up the poles and look. So we're able to get 5 of the 7 working. 2 of them are totally non-functional. A third will turn on, and then when it heats up, it shuts off, which is another symptom of heat damage. Makes sense because they were all along the fire path. So working with the manufacturer to get prices for those. So we're making progress. Still working with state and federal legislators trying to secure funding. Some, like the question of like, how do we get things paid for that we know we need to do? Part of it, I'm asking Senator Przansky to add the new gym roof replacement and waterproofing to the state ask. So we'll see if that project gets selected out of his earmark ask, as well as the fiber optic run for our Overcome project. Been submitted to Senator Wyden and Merkley about to scale up our construction technology program to start building tiny homes and eventually help with replacing homes, full-size homes in the Blue River area. And so that would, that ask would get us the tools, some land expertise to grow out that program, working with Lane ESD and industry partners. So if you know someone who you think would be a good construction teacher, we have the job posted. Feel free to steer them that way. A teaching license isn't required right now, but we can get folks licensed through pathways through Lane ESD that looks at experience and training and certifications, and can get folks a restricted CTE
You
license.
said that the license is required.
It's not.
No.
Oh, it's not required.
I could get you licensed. Probably. Senators Wyden and Merkley will be on campus next Tuesday to discuss our internet project. I think there's a couple other places they're making stops at up here. So I'm looking forward to showing them McKenzie and then seeing if I can fill them in about some other projects as well beyond the internet project. Today I met with Matt McCrae and Laurel O'Rourke from the county. We will be hosting 2 resource workers on campus so they can help the community recover. We're also working with them about finding ways to help fill the housing needs up here, potentially looking at utilizing our underutilized property in Blue River to give folks places to stay temporarily. Also, we'll be meeting on the 2nd with Homes for Good to see if they would be interested in working on some family affordable housing projects as well, because we need folks up here.
So when we sold that property to McKenzie River Trust, the piece across from the laundromat wasn't included in that
Nope.
sale? Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, it was just the forest land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So when the senators are coming next Tuesday, they're just gonna they just want to take a tour of the campus and.
Yeah, they're pretty much coming to talk to us about the internet project, the Project Overcome project. So
Okay.
it'll be us, me, Matt, and Jeff, and then they kind of wanted to see campus. So
That's great.
give them the tour of this is where things used to be before they burned down.
Matt Sayer or Matt McCrae?
Sarah.
Okay.
Let's see, Brent Lacey and I continue planning for our summer session. It'll be a 4-week program, July 6th through 29th. So elementary program is going to be like rotating camps of art, technology, sports, recreation-like activities. The high school program will allow students to gain credit, doing some work potentially with the Watershed Council, Forest Service. Also, Element would be working with teachers to provide the programming for elementary students as well, so they can get credit and get paid to do that as well. So that's kind of exciting. There's still a lot of details to flesh out, and time's speeding up. It's coming. So as you saw in the budget, there's a lot of federal resources. Trying to get those to work together, to work optimally has been a lot of work in general. It's a good work, good problems to have. But investments that come out of that federal funding, Wendy touched on, Lacey touched on, include additional custodial staff, purchasing a new bus, hiring an assistant principal to manage student behaviors and stuff in the buildings, to give Brent a little bit more support, as I have been sidetracked supporting the district's recovery and the community's recovery. And that's been fun work, but it also pulls away from the building work. Let's see. And then the charter board met last month, but there was no quorum present. They were considering a resolution to transfer the charter school governance to you all. They will meet again next week, and hopefully we can get that done and move forward. So that's my report for the month. Any questions?
A lot. There's a lot going on.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
So I did have a question. So the septic is basically working, or are we down to like one bathroom? Are both high school bathrooms going to the same drain field? Or they have to go to the elementary to go to the,
So what we've been doing is pumping until we knew what was going on. It's expensive.
I was going to say that's a lot of money.
And so how long do we usually get before it starts backing up?
Well, it depends. Usually somewhere around a week plus. That's a 3,000 gallon tank. And it's pretty much these bathrooms here and then these locker rooms.
Wow.
So.
That's expensive.
Yeah, when those we have issues with those, then we use the middle wall.
Right. I was just wondering if we might get to the point where we just have to close those ones.
Yep. So if you know of a good septic guy, let me know.
Any other questions? All right, building, Mr. Meister.
Sure. You also want me to speak without a microphone? I mean, either.
I feel like we can hear you.
It would be hard to hear me. Did you guys get a copy of this? Just know that
Yeah.
some of this was written last week and a little bit has changed since last week. So I'll say some stuff that probably what's written on there. But yeah, there are actually 12 school days after the remaining this school year. Staff and students in both buildings continue to work hard to finish their projects and figure out the best way to celebrate students given the unusual circumstances with the pandemic. So we're finding that there are many end of the year activities and celebrations that we'll have to alter in order to make them work. Like the annual awards assemblies that we do in elementary and middle high. We're looking for different ways to plan those, like in elementary, and you might be able to speak to this a little bit better since you guys just met. I wasn't able to be a part of that, but looking at smaller cohorts to try to have those celebrations. And I may have talked about doing some live streams so parents can also see that happening. But yeah, I don't know if you guys finalize anything.
Yeah, so we'll do in the elementary is we'll have, kind of like we did tonight, we'll have a Zoom webinar, share at the stream link to parents, and have each class present in their classroom. And then the next day, the last day of school, we'll have kindergarten do a stream of their graduation, and then sixth grade will do a celebration for promotion. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're also working on similar ideas for middle and high school as well. So yeah, we're just, as you know, we're rethinking how to do a lot of things, as we're all doing a lot of different areas, doing that here in school as well. Kindergarten orientation is happening this year. It will be virtual and will take place a week from now. State testing is going to occur on next Tuesday and Wednesday for grades 7, 8, and 11, and June 6th and 7th for grades 3 through 6. And then, like we talked about last board meeting, the waiver to release the requirement for state assessments was denied at the federal level from ODE, and the new requirements are reduced in terms of the testing when compared to a typical year. Students will be tested in one or two subject areas, or one subject area in grades 3 through 6, and 2 areas for grades 7, 8, and 11. And then we sent out information letting families know that we are going to be testing, and also the option to opt out as well. And that's been communicated in various different ways to families in the community. Graduation is scheduled for the 12th of June here in the old gym. Mr. Day and Peggy Campbell are the 12th grade advisors working directly to organize the ceremony. They're doing a great job trying to get all of the logistics together. We are planning a traditional graduation ceremony. It'll be different than last year, which was fairly unique, but also special. But yeah, we are planning a traditional ceremony here in the gym. And at this time, talking about limiting the number of guests to 11 folks per graduate. The number doesn't include staff members that will be participating in that ceremony. If things change, you consider altering the allowed number of guests per graduate or adjusting capacity accordingly. As you know, with all this stuff is fluid and changing all the time. So it's difficult to make that call right at this moment. Hopefully we'll be able to make a determination coming up soon.
Can it be outside?
Potentially. Yeah, that's an option. So yeah, it will be good to have the 12th graders together and be able to walk together.
I agree.
Yeah, so with everything going on, there's still a lot of really neat things happening just at the school level. Getting back to non-fire, non-COVID related things and just focusing on what kids are doing with their teachers in the classroom. One great example of this is a collaboration between our music teacher, Ms. Saminsky, and our social studies teacher, Ms. Christensen. Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure they're not moving tracks. I hope they're not.
Soundtracks.
I believe they're supposed to be.
They are soundtracks,
I
yes.
hope those kids don't have.
He's making sure you are reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for.
No worries.
Everything, well, that's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so they're doing a thing where Ms. Christensen has a project every year where the students need to learn about the Constitution, and they come up with poems and that sort of thing in the past. And then this year, those same students also have a music technology class with Ms. Saminsky, so they made their sound tracks to go with them, and they're super creative and really fun, and they kind of ended up sounding a lot like something you hear from Hamilton. But it's a neat way for our students to be able to show that they understand what the framers intended with the Constitution and be able to express that, and also be able to combine the musical things that they're picking up in that class to make a product, so that's been really fun. Mr. Cole has actually been working with our elementary teachers, leading them through a tech ed class, with the hope that they'll be able to actually work with their students K through 6 on various coding techniques throughout the year next year, really focusing on bringing the technology skills and levels of our students to a higher place than they currently are in the future. But it's been a really rewarding and fun training for our teachers, and they're excited, and a lot of them are starting to apply those skills in their classrooms now. And then in addition to that, I know Mr. Day is working with the Forest Service to plant the pollinator garden. They started on that yesterday, just kind of on the hillside leading up to where the old playground is. Planted a lot of lupin and other native species with his gardening class. But it's fun to be able to coordinate with the Forest Service again and get those things going. And then also students in Ms. Christensen's classes are participating in the oral history project as well. They're giving their account of their experience of the fire and talking about that in conjunction with who's doing that, MEF, right? Yeah.
McKenzie Education Management.
Yeah. So a lot of our students are going to have their record there as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we're asking for parent permission and that kind of stuff. It's important for them to be able to voice to that project as well.
It'd be nice if some of the parents also participated in that too. Great.
Yeah. And then Lena already talked a lot about the summer school stuff, so I won't go into that very much, but just know that we do have around 50 elementary students signed up for that already, saying yes, they want to participate, and then around 15 to 18 high school students wanting to participate as well. So those are pretty good numbers given our student population. So that's, yeah, it's going to be a good experience for our another opportunity through Connected Bank County and Onward Eugene and the Boz Institute is available for 10th to 12th grade students in the area of science to do graduate level research this summer. So Mr. Day is working with students to gauge interest in participating in online courses and research work for 6 weeks over the summer. And Connected Lane County will pay the students for their work. And students can earn credit as well as gaining valuable post-secondary research skills. So that's another great opportunity for our students over this summer. And then we had a very short track season, and that is over. And we didn't have enough participants to field a basketball team, so we will look to the fall and see where we go there in terms of athletics. And then again, like you guys have heard me say this, I just want to speak to the spirit of our community and just know that we've had these really difficult, most often insurmountable circumstances, but we as a community have learned to face this adversity with resilience and grace. And it's great to see how we can band together to do what's right and best for students and why we are everything. So I just want to commend you guys for being here and our staff and students as well. It's been tough, but we've all learned from this and are better in many ways. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, I did have to. How many graduates do we have? 10. Out of the class of
11.
Okay.
Wendy, financials.
Okay, so in April, you see $149,605 in revenue. We spent $253,244. Our accounts payable. I will have to email Elaine the question about the school outfitters. I think it's chairs, but I will check on it.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you're right, it's the chairs.
It was chairs?
Yeah, it's the chairs.
Okay.
I believe it. That's
Single
okay.
chairs.
I wasn't, I couldn't remember, but yes.
Okay.
And then I wanted to let the board know, in all the logs, we all had the logs cut down. We received $85,000 in revenue from the logs to date. We still have a few more to go.
Wow.
And we spent $52,000 of that. So of the expenditures that we spent, some of it to the truck drivers taking the logs, to get it to the mill. And then we spent about, I believe it was about 30,000 of that was for the survey of the property. So that's kind of what the expenditures been on that money. So we have about $33,000 from the log. And I think we still have a few more logs that went.
I think they just took the last of the logs in. I think they just took the last of them.
They did on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, so we should get revenue in the bill, so then the I can show you the balances.
And then that just goes in the general.
No, that's is put into capital projects.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Lane, I know we need to plant trees, I'm not sure the criteria around that, but that's something that just has to decide what they want to do.
That'll be at least some seed money in case we have to. There's a lot of other resources we're seeing come up to get that done, but it's good to hold that there because we do need to put things back in place if we don't get those resources. So yeah, it'll go into the capital.
Yay.
Capital fund.
Do you guys have any questions about the financial report?
Thank you so much, Wendy. Bond report with confidence.
Okay.
So I do have one question about the financials, because it's good for us to look at them and ask questions.
Yes.
On page 2 for the Time Warner table, there's 2 charges for $99.50, and it's got the same check number for both charges, but the total amount is $19.99.
Page 2.
Page 2. At the bottom
The
there.
check register?
Yeah.
Yeah, time warner.
Well, it could be charged in different account codes. So we have to check and see what time order. Yeah, so it's.
Oh.
That's what we did for spectrum, split it in half and charged
Oh, yeah. And then,
So then the budget code isn't the full string?
No, it's either, it's probably 390 or 359, so I would have to find the last number in that screen to tell you what account actually is for. But I can email you that answer if you like.
Just asking.
Okay.
well, I think, I'm pretty sure that half of it is to 351, which is for telephone, and the other one is 359, which is other technology.
All right, any other questions? Mr. Thompson?
All right. So, sure you all saw, measure 2321 failed to pass 221 to 285.
So close.
Yeah, I know. I think going into it, we all knew it was going to be a challenge considering what our community went through. So, we're taking stock of the most pressing facility needs and then working with partners to try to secure funding to make those projects happen. I think there's facility needs, but then, there's just going to be something to be said about taking an opportunity to catch our breaths after running two back-to-back elections, kind of thinking about the long game, because we definitely, there's still those needs are still there. They're not going away. You guys are well versed in what those are. And so I think just getting creative to take care of the most pressing ones. And then, we should, I'm not saying we need to pick a date, the next election now, because Lord, I'd rather not think about elections for a while. Getting beat twice, back to back kind of stings a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's, in the next few months, let's look at what makes the most sense, 2 years, 4 years, give enough time to see what happens with community recovery and assessed values. And so, tip my hat to Elaine and Tim. You guys really put a good push there at the end to spread the word and rally the troops. And thank you for all your efforts and, in hindsight, looking back to, everybody, thank you all for giving up your July, having a July meeting and then having special meetings. And, because of these elections, we've had a bunch more meetings than we usually do. So thank you for carving out time out of your evenings. But this one's done, but let's circle the wagons and talk soon about what we think we might need to do in the long run. So that's my bond report. Wish I had a better ending, but
I'm sorry, say the numbers again, Lane.
221 to 285. That's a incredibly low turnout when I think
I was gonna say, how many?
About 2,000.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you said, I'm like,
Yeah, about 2,000 registered voters.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me think like how many of our voters were scattered and didn't get their ballots and, or just didn't. Mays are hard ones anyways, but that's really low.
But we'll have capital.
Congratulations, you all.
Yeah.
We'll have capital projects. We'll have the seismic rehabilitation grant to make sure this building is seismically stable and usable following an event. And then we're trucking on getting the grandstands and stuff replaced. So there'll be work happening, just not the scale.
I'm just very concerned about the safety issues in the elementary that they get addressed rapidly. And even if then we do get a bond pass later on, but it has to be done, so.
Yeah, I think about half of the ones that ran the same election were successful. Most of those were ones that set their numbers low and got the match. I think Baker passed their first bond since the 50s, but it was only a 4 million bond with a 4 million match. Coquille, I think their bond was tighter and they ended up losing as well, but they were asking for about the same as we were with about, I think it was a $16 million bond. So
That's my bond report.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Superintendent. Action items, school calendar, Mr. Cummings.
So if you look in the back, we've got two options. Let's see. So let me look at my summary notes here, sorry. So these were built on the assumption that we'll be able to return to business as usual with potentially some masking and some spacing considerations in the fall. So this would include the number of student days and the return to the full length of the day. So that way we're back to minute requirements and meeting those. So option one would have us start on our traditional post-Labor Day start. So we'd put September 7th as a non-student staff workday to allow staff to participate in any community remembrances of last year's fire. And I think that'll be something we probably be doing for the duration. Option two would have us start earlier in August, getting us out a little bit earlier in June. We again would have the 7th as a non-student staff day. The Certified Association voted and they recommend option one, and that would be my recommendation as well.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of starting school that early.
Yeah, I think families are so accustomed to, I mean, in this area, I mean, certainly if you go to school in Chicago, it's a different scene, but
Right.
I think in this area, we're sort of accustomed to just after Labor Day. So we kind of plan vacations and everything around, you know, being back by Labor Day. So I
think of families and staff that are building, they're gonna need as much time too. But yeah, I think most people are already like, don't rock the boat.
I agree.
And I really enjoy that, and I think staff would enjoy having that Tuesday as a work day and coming back. I mean, I think a lot of schools in this area do that anyways, and that's kind of nice. And I'm agreeing with you. I think that there's going to be, for several years, there's going to be some sort of dedication or ceremony or something like that. And get the ball rolling, and then you're off day, and yeah.
Yep.
So I would move that we can to accept.
You caution against
August, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because we're probably gonna end in a lower spot than we were last year, hoping that we get it here in September is gonna be great, but trying to start at the end of August, when that fire, we're probably gonna be in a worse spot than we were last year, it's just gonna be a lot of stressful.
I agree.
No, I need to apologize.
So I would move that we accept option one for the school district calendar for school year 2021, 2022.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Melissa, seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote? All right, motion carries, thank you so much. MEA 2-year contract 21-23, Mr. Tompkins and the Michigan.
Yeah, so it's one of those awesome years we got to bargain both associations. So to the team members who did that work, thank you so much. Yeah. That was because last year with everything we did do last time. So MEA contract, the MEA voted to ratify. April highlights of that agreement include being a 2-year contract, step advancement for those eligible. There's some language cleanup around academic credit accrual. A new hire orientation has been added. They get a 2.25 COLA both years, and a $75 insurance increase in year 1 and a $100 increase in year 2.
And that's a month, 75.
Yeah, an additional 75. Yeah. Yep. So I think.
I move we accept the MEA 2-year contract as given.
I'll second.
The chair moved, Melissa seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, fantastic, thank you. OSEA classified contract 21 through 24. Mr. Tompkins, Mr. Rucker, and Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that was good.
The McKenzie chapter of OSEA has voted to ratify the agreement negotiated at the end of April as well. Highlights include it being a 3-year contract with steps for each of those who are able. Contract language to clean up around membership and rights to fall in line with federal law and state law. $50 increase in insurance each year. Restoration of vacation for classified employees in all classifications. We had it broken out where if you weren't a full year employee, you didn't get vacation. So even our 10-month employees are accruing vacation now. Year 1 includes a 3% COLA. Years 2 and 3 have a 2% COLA.
I'll move that we accept the OSEA classified contract 2021 to 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Melissa moved, Melissa seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So I know, speaking for all of us who are part of this, I hope that both associations really feel the level of appreciation the district has for them, that they really stepped up big during these trying times with pandemic and the wildfire. Super adaptable, went above and beyond, and just hope they feel appreciated and that they recognize the investment being made into making McKenzie a workplace with competitive pay. So that's, you look at the gains that folks got, and it ends up working good for everybody because we're taking better care of everybody. So just wanted to mention that.
All right, fantastic. School board comments.
Well, Kent, I was gonna say, congratulations on your last meeting. It looks like you might have another, but.
I think I am required to attend the June meeting.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well then,
But I appreciate that. Yeah, it does look like there'll be another one coming. Of course.
okay, appreciated everything that's been going on. Yeah, I can't believe there's only 12 more days to school. Is that what you just said? Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Amazing.
So as I sit here and contemplate our year or my 2 years on the board, I think about some of the work that we'd started about 2 years ago when I was, brand new and hard charging about all the great things that we could do as a board. I remember drafting up a strategic plan or identifying our goals and priorities as a board and the direction that we wanted to go. And I think because of all the things that just keep coming up, I think that got pushed down to the bottom of the agenda. And I wonder where that is and where it could go now, given the new day, right? We've got the bond off our plate. We've got a lot of recovery dollars coming our way. And I'm just curious if there's thought process of really taking a look at that and trying to use that to long range. When do we go for another bond request, or what are we doing for the recovery and rebuild as a community and as a board to support the school? And I'm just throwing that out there that I'm really considering what does that look like for us now that we haven't looked at that document in so long, because we obviously have been so busy.
In survival mode.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think it's a natural part of your board cycle is probably next month to revisit some of those things, and then when we get into, when you come back from your July recess and we get in August, I need to, you guys need to be on. We're pretty good about thinking about it and then not doing it until about halfway through the year. But if we start it fresh in August, then we'd have that roadmap. And I agree.
So that could be an agenda item that we start looking at, and because I don't believe I've seen it unless we used it in something else. Since I've been on, so I'd be very interested in seeing.
I know we have them because my goals are tied to your goals.
Yeah, we did
So
goals.
we did do goals.
We did do goals, but you're talking about the strategic plan.
Yeah, we just haven't looked at it this year.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea to put it on the table. And then I appreciate the reports and discussions from the superintendent and the principal about what's the school doing in the way ahead. I also appreciate that they're printed and included in our minutes, and I wonder if it could be really put on the school board to read these ahead of time and come with questions and not tie up our meeting times, so that we're more productive during our meetings to kind of really, one, help Lane think through any potential issues that he may be coming up against, like the septic tank system or grant funding opportunities, or, what are we doing to support bond? I think there's a lot of work that could be done, and rather than just sitting and learning about what the school is doing at the boots on the ground level, how are we as a board being supportive of the school as well and the staff to get the job done too.
Right, so it's just not all on their heads, that they
That's
have
right.
a resource.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you, to the board.
I'd like to comment, I'd like to go back to the meeting that we had before, looking to the future agenda. There is no public budget hearing meeting on June 16th. 4 years on the budget committee and 11 years on the board. We always got it done in May, and I think that's pretty amazing. It hasn't always been easy. Sometimes we had a room full of people that were very concerned about a lot of stuff. But the reason I bring that up is just to go back and say once again, kudos to the administration, to the superintendent, to Nancy, to Wendy. My wife said, should I study that budget? And I said, you're certainly welcome to. I always have looked at it, but I also have always been so thankful for these people coming and explaining it. And I'll just say it this way, because I'm not going to be here much longer. I just showed up every year and said, I trust these people to know exactly what they're doing and to lay it out because of the much hard work they continue to do. I don't think that was phoning it in on my part, but I just think that was just always so marvelous to say, gosh, I trust the administration to come and say, here's the budget, and that doesn't work in every school district. That just doesn't work. Not every administration, not every staff is as diligent, as vigilant, and has these things all together. So, thank you so much for 15 years of doing that. I was involved.
I second that. I agree, Kent. I support that. The staff here have just continued to go above and beyond and putting documents like this thing together. And Nancy, it's amazing. And then to sit here and hold our hand and explain to us piece by piece by piece of what we're looking at is a whole nother step, above. I think that where you depend on us as a board is to actually look at it and ask questions and make sure that and I'm learning this right now in some of my own work, is someone needs to give it a stink eye so that I know that I'm doing it right. So I don't have to do it again, right? Look at the document, tell me if you have any questions, because it helps me ensure that it makes sense and it's accurate, right?
Yeah. This is what mine looked like.
Yeah.
Any more comments? We will be trying to have a meeting in between, and I'm not sure how long Mr. Heller will be on, but I'm assuming when he returns, we'll get that figured out. But the next regular school board meeting is June 16th at 5:30. So, next step.
How do we adjourn?
I second.
Let's move to Station second, and all those in favor? Aye. All right.
We're gonna have to stay in the big gym forever.